consider when you're looking at mentoring young people from migrant backgrounds is have a look at their culture, that's their individual, family, community expectations, religion, their traditions. Have a look at their settlement experience, their settlement around education, learning English, family relationships, employment, financial advantages and so on, disadvantage. Adolescent development through all of that, of course. And in particular, with new and emerging communities, and I guess migrant kids per se, and being a migrant kid myself, I can really identify with that. Complex identity formation. So one of the primary things that the leaders, the representatives from the communities have indicated to us as their primary concern in their settlement is what they call, first of all, culture clash, the negotiation of the new culture by the traditional culture or the culture from where they come from. So there's an immediate sense of having to fit and somehow or other assimilate or grow together. Through that process, young people are actually caught in that process. The arriving cultural group and family wants to retain and maintain culture, and of course, because thousands of years of tradition and so on have proved their existence and capacity to exist and survive. Engaging the new culture means that there's a whole range of new values that the young person is basically going to have to also negotiate, primarily because they want to fit in. So, identity formation for a migrant kid has got a range of complexities that, whilst all adolescent identity formation is complex, for new and emerging communities, and particularly for refugee young people, it's extremely complex because you have got one foot in your traditional culture and you want to please your parents, your family, and you want to belong. Yep, you also want to belong here. And that negotiation can sometimes be strained. Okay, just very quickly, 5 quick tip guide. Agencies require that flexibility. Improvise, move, go with the young people themselves, allow them to inform you to drive your programs. Respect and value the culture and the varying nuances of the young people that you have in front of you. Some of them might come late because of the whole range of things. That might not necessarily be culture, it might be because nobody's got a car in that family. So understand what those cultural idiosyncrasies are. Adopt a whole agency approach. In other words, ensure that all levels of your agency are brought in to the mentoring process. When I did my Masters on mentoring, mentoring in adolescents, what we found was the context of mentoring was as crucial as the mentoring process itself. So whether it's peer mentoring or group mentoring or one-to-one mentoring, if you do not have the context that supports that, you're going to have individuals that drive it, and if they're not supported, because they need to be supported as well, it's going to be harder for them and it's going to be harder for the young people. So building trust is a given. Creating employment pathways. We found in the processes of our mentoring that what young people sought was to engage in society and engage in community in a very in a very meaningful way. A lot of that has to do with education, training, employment and so on. And Teresa's a fantastic example of one of our young mentees coming through the ranks in the years of having first been a mentee, then being a peer mentor, now being an absolute professional, and the way that you did that was absolute proof, Teresa, how far you've come, so just congratulations. Isabella is another young mentee that we have here employed, and other young people have gone on to further employment. Just run a couple of minutes, and I know, Michael, I've got maybe 1 minute. Just run a couple of minutes. Just to sort of, I guess, give you a bit of a feel, but I don't know sound. Is sound going to happen?
Just plug the speakers into the thing. Do you want to do it for me? Yeah, he's got it.
Just give you a bit of a taster, and just feel free to obviously download it. And what? What are you guys on about?
What are referred to as the new and emerging communities. A large portion of the new and emerging communities, which I guess is referred to as humanitarian entrants and refugees, are young people. As a result of that, we as an agency have had to come to look at methodologies for engaging these young people who many mainstream services in fact find very difficult to engage for a range of reasons, either through language, through simply not knowing that these kinds of services exist. Mum and dad do shift work or might not have any work at all, very often no work at all. Definitely no cars for mum and dad to be able to take young people to agencies and so on. I guess the changes that we've seen in adopting the benchmarks and adopting the approaches that we do with regards to we feel much more confident in the kind of work that we do. We certainly see that our workers are much more confident and clear.
Okay. Sorry to bore you there. Thank you. Well, thank you everyone and all the presenters this afternoon. It's been really interesting and thoughtful, and I'm just, we were meant to have some discussion at the end. If there's some questions that people would like to raise at the moment. I don't know about you, but I've just found really interesting the way everybody's been brought across the sector, from the universities, from the other government departments, as well as non-government organisations have presented here today. I think that's been really fruitful and interesting for me. I'm not quite sure, do other people have any comments or any questions or anything like that, or do we say thank you and good night to everyone? So thank you all for coming and for participating in this. I've found it really good, and thank you very much.
Thank you.